We've been having some very un-Irish weather recently. A lot of snow and record temperatures going down to -20 centigrade. And last Sunday we again had a couple of inches of snow in some places, unfortunately just where I happened to be driving. Off the main roads in Ireland we tend to have a lot of little lanes. In Irish they're called boreens. And last week I found myself driving up and down a few of these. In normal conditions they are narrow, bumpy wee roads with plenty of bends and what we call yumps. That's where your car will take off if you're driving too hard, and hence the usual advice to keep her between the hedges. The other expression we use is to keep her lit, in other words keep up the momentum, which also applies when you're trying to get up an icy hill. Well, on 2 inches of compacted snow, no matter how careful you are, things can go wrong, and the first thing I knew the car was sliding sideways, downhill, towards a steep bank with a ditch on the other side. Before we went over it, thankfully the wheel caught and propelled the car on down the slope towards the junction with another of these boreens. We slid on helplessly straight across the other road and slammed into the stone parapet of the bridge on the other side. I managed to reverse the car out of the middle of the road before anyone hit us and inspect the damage, which could have been worse. No broken glass or damaged panels, but the front bumper pushed in an inch or two, which I'll have to get repaired soon. Thankfully, we were able to drive on unharmed. We have quite a few expressions here which refer to motoring, or should I say motoring. Once you manage to extricate yourself from these wee side roads and get onto a fairly straight highway, you might hear the expression, "Now we're sucking diesel," which can also be applied to other situations apart from driving. Basically that means, now we're getting somewhere. You can afford to sink the gutty, in other words put your foot down and accelerate a bit. If a car comes round the corner a bit too fast, somebody is likely to comment, "Go on you boy you," in a sarcastic manner, often meaning that they hope he crushes it. It could equally well be, "Go on you girl you," or we might be heard to comment that he was fairly motoring on, or even hammering on, or maybe he come down the road flying altogether, so he did. If you do happen to have an accident, you might well have to admit that you'd cowped the motor, bent the car a wee bit, or at least give her a bit of a dunt.